Participation. Hello, everyone. Costas, will you give the words of introduction and we will start in a minute?
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon to you. It's like this is the last session of this coil about soft and digital skills. We are very happy that we host Dr. Elena Misrachi, who was one of the organizers. We have learned a lot of things about how to organize a coil regarding content and the execution, and I would like to thank you for your participation. We will continue this kind of approach, but probably we need to correct some of the things that we have learned in order to provide something more with a higher impact for us and for you as a priority and for us, as an organizers. So I would like to thank you again for your participation, and I'm looking forward to listening Dr. Elena Misrachi about this AI data-based kind of tools and approach. And that it's a topic very impactful for scientists, but also for students as well. So, Elena, I would like to thank you for your contribution during the impact for all the activities and for this particular one. Thank you. And we will continue next semester with other kind of topics. Thank you, Elena.
Thank you very much. So it's great to see everyone, especially those with the camera on. So thank you for joining all the institutions from Israel and from other countries in Europe. Unfortunately, we have no Moroccan students here, but maybe next time. So as Costa said, some of the students for example, from HMU, from Hellenic Mediterranean University, as even international students already completed their online exam, mini test, which was part of their assessment in order to complete this course. Israeli institutions have different additional evaluation or assessment. So some of you didn't take that test, but you will be doing something else. So please approach your teacher. You all know who is leading your course within your institution, and to make sure that everything is complete. Students who are under my supervision here, we will be working on the final portfolio, which is written work. You will submit some of your reflection, answer some questions, and maybe share some of the links from the tools that we have learned this semester together. So obviously you will be in touch with us if you have any questions. We all have our phone numbers, WhatsApp, we have some different groups, and we will be available for you to complete your course requirements in order for you to pass and get a nice grade and accreditation from your institution. So this is just a little bit of housekeeping, right? So technically, for all of us, it's going to be the last synchronous meeting. And today we will talk about data collection and analysis. I don't know what you think about those terms. We will find out in a minute. I hope everyone already has joined. This is being recorded, and it's obviously nicer to be here live than, I don't know if you actually... if those who miss actually watch the whole recording things, but yeah, it's important to join. If in the future you have the opportunity to do such a course again, I strongly encourage you to just connect with your camera on, participate, express your opinions, contribute to our discussions and dialogue. So maybe this is something you can try today for the last time, in order to see if you can still enjoy this experience, and you will like it, because it's very important to share our experience, right? Our previous experience, our fears, and our knowledge with each other. And especially when we talk about AI, again, this part is not only about soft skills, but it's also about digital literacy. So part of the digital literacy is knowing some of the tools and knowing how to use them. And of course, I know that we all come from different disciplines, from different faculties. And I think today's session is going to be universally important and useful for all teachers, students, and all the different faculties that you represent. So thank you for joining. And let's begin. We will begin with just a few questions for me to understand your background, your knowledge, your experience in data collection, because this can be either exciting to some of you or intimidating to others. We don't know. So let's find out. Just click on the link in the Menti. It will take you to the first question. And the first question that I'm asking you is about data analysis. When you hear about data analysis, what comes to mind? Is it something that excites you? Is it something that is you might be afraid of? I don't know. Do you know some tools maybe? Have you done it? Is it something new? What do you envision? All kinds of associations, whatever comes to mind. Also adjectives, use some adjectives. I'm looking at your responses. I'll share my screen. Maybe also like your feelings about it, not just tools and graphs and things like that, even though those are, of course, something that comes to mind first. Statistics, Excel sheets, research, right? You think about research, right? So data analysis is about research. So I want to show you that it's not only about that. Today, we have 7 participants. If you, for some reason, missed the link that I've shared, I'll share it again in the chat. So here's the link to contribute. And please join it if you haven't yet. Join the link because I have a few more questions coming up for everyone. Okay, so what about your feelings, right? So data analysis is solving problems, is research. Some actually thought about AI. Okay, interesting. When it comes to your reactions, I see interesting, visualizing data, numbers, solving problems, graphs, statistics. Statistics is big because many of you have written the word statistics, right? Data analysis means like statistics, right? And I don't see any particular examples of any particular statistical tools, so it's probably not something that comes to your mind. Maybe it's something that comes to my mind. Big data, information, math, programming. Okay, charts, results, coding. Okay, here are some feelings. Confusion. It's not only interesting, it might also be confusing to some of us, but it is interesting, right? Interesting is big. It's big. It is interesting, but it might be also confusing. Okay, so let's see if AI can help or not. We'll find out. Let's go to next question. I'm interested now to find out whether you have collected data yourself. Once or twice means that you probably are a student and just, maybe bachelor level student, undergraduate student, and maybe you were asked to collect some data in one of your courses. And we actually have the majority of you guys. Well, the 3 probably comes from Costas and Noga and Ralph, maybe, or whoever else is the representative of staff. And the students have only done it once or twice. That is interesting, okay? And maybe even never. Wow, we have one person who said never. Do you see my screen? Yeah. Okay, so once a person said never, but altogether we only got, 15, 16 responses? Let's get some more, guys. Please respond. We have 36 people on Zoom, so I need at least 30 responses. Come on, we want everyone to participate. Otherwise, why are you here, right? Just to see what others say? This is boring. Be involved. Answer this question, please. 19 participants now joined. Okay, 2 people have never collected data. Interesting. Okay, so only once or twice, which is, it's almost nothing, right? It's close to zero experience, very little experience. I would call once or twice really like minimum experience with collecting data, because if you already know what I'm talking about, we will see. I have some more questions before I show you different strategies and ideas for how to do it right. So out of 30, 36, 35, 34, we have received some 3, whatever, 3/4, right? 2/3 maybe responded. That's enough. Okay, that's fine. The next question is another word cloud, because I want you to think now, who collects data? If you please think about like just, you know, groups of people who can be involved in this, who collects data. Just, you know, I'm not giving you examples because I don't want you to steal those. But we already see some examples on, on the word cloud, researchers, obviously, students, teachers. And some other interesting examples like Microsoft, okay, Google too, probably. All those companies collect data. Who else? Professors like teachers. And here is Google, right? Google, Microsoft, okay. But mostly the first thing that comes to mind is researchers, right? Researchers, then students and teachers, right? Those three categories. This is actually what I also thought of, but maybe somebody wrote also scientists, right? You can imagine like science labs and people, research labs working on like collecting data and doing some kind of research. But again, data collection is something that happens like not daily, like constantly, right? Non-stop, 24/7. And as you have rightfully noted, it's been happening to us, sometimes by us, but mostly to us, right? By companies, organizations, institutions, all kinds of businesses. They constantly connect data about us. But again, if we are going to be from on the other side today, not as people who, well, both. We will experience also that part where we are contributing to someone's research and responding to data collection, and on the side of a researcher or student or teacher who suddenly has a bunch of data and you don't even realize that you have collected it. I'll show you. Especially like pre-service teachers who are students and think, okay, we never collected any data. But if you have ever given a quiz to your students, like in your practice teaching, this is already data. You just don't realize that yet. But you can actually analyze it and see which questions were harder or easier or maybe inappropriate for the quiz or something like that. That's a lot. That's like all kinds of things. So it's not only research, right? I wanted to show you, and I see that it's here. Governments, of course, also governments collect data. I think we just have one more question before we move on to the actual tools and strategies. So there are different data collection methods, and I want to know what you know before I share some of my tools. Let's just cover like a wide range of things that may be the way or to collect data. So it's also called, I'll give you another term for this, method of China. Who wrote this? Please elaborate on that. That's interesting. Another term for this would be research instruments. So what would be the research instrument if we talk about research, right? But of course, we're not only doing like real research as a researcher or scientist, we also have like more down-to-earth use cases like teachers, for example, collecting data, or students doing their homework or doing their seminar paper, and they have to collect data for their, you know, for their mini research or like a paper or something for like, let's see. So first of all, I see that you have provided a few things, which is a mix of qualitative research, right, and quantitative. So qualitatively, you can do observations, right? You can literally record people and analyze, you know, whatever you see. I'll give it to AI now, right? We're going to talk about AI now, helping us. Obviously, there are interviews. The interviews can be qualitative, in depth, right? Around different topics where you actually ask a lot of open questions, right? And you collect inputs, information from your subjects. We used to call participants, research participants, subjects. I don't know if you have heard the word, if you're the new generation of researchers, but yes, in the past, these were just subjects. Now we call them more respectfully participants, right? So interviews, obviously very, very popular. Experiments, you can collect data via experiments. Questionnaires are very popular. And these are some tools, right? In Google Forms, Word forms, all kinds of forms that actually are connected to sheets, right? Forms and sheets, Excel sheets, or Google Forms, Google Spread, Google Sheets, right? They're all connected and they can all reflect the questionnaires or surveys, right? Surveys, questionnaires, these are almost synonyms. If anyone has any questions as I discuss this, please, jump in and comment or ask a question or send a note in the chat. Okay, so let's see what else. 7 tools, 10 to go. What is this? I don't know. What is that? The method of Google. So the method of China, method of Google. I don't know what that means. Do you want to elaborate? Focus group in ethnographic approach observations. Do we have an expert in the method of Google or a method of China? Or was it just sarcasm? Sampling. Okay, interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna go and this is what the session promised actually. I'm gonna go to very, very easy, simple way to collect data, which can actually be used both for qualitative data collection, where you can collect numbers, collect all kinds of information that can be quantified and then analyzed with quantitative statistics, right? When you compare numbers, means, averages, like do all kinds of analysis, correlations. We can hear you. Can you please mute yourself if you have noise around you? Thank you. So we're talking about ways to collect data, and Google Forms will be one of these tools today. We will talk about Google Forms and the way you can combine collecting, quantitative data with qualitative data, right? With numbers, but also open-ended responses, which you can then analyze. Obviously, interviews can be an oral version of the written survey, right? And again, written survey can combine numbers and open questions. So these are very, very interesting and important. So how do you create those forms? Now I'm going to stop sharing my screen. How do you guys work on the questions for your data collection? Do you write those questions yourself? Do you search for some kind of reliable tools and questionnaires that have been checked and published? Do you how do you do that? Those who said you're doing it regularly, where do you take the question from? Do you just invent them every time you launch your study? You have your own new set of questions? How is this process? Can anyone share?
I asked I to offer questions on the subjects.
Okay, so you jump right into the new tools, the AI, of course. Yes. Okay.
I got addicted.
Great. Before AI, let's go before AI, just a couple of years ago. What was the real process? What was like the other way to do it?
I would actually search for questionnaires like mine that are close enough, and then just edit them.
Yeah. So that's just an example for students to follow, because not everyone is an expert. Not everyone is doing it daily, right, for a living. So for those students who will be asked to create a questionnaire or a survey, how do you do it? So the best way, one of the ways, is to actually search for something that has been published in some kind of peer-reviewed publication, journal, something where people have checked those questions. Maybe they're, even though sometimes not, the quality of surveys and questionnaires can range, and maybe something that you will come up with will be better than something that has been already published. But you can always take something published as a basis and then tweak it to your needs, to your particular research. This is always good to not just create everything from scratch, from your own head and imagination, but rely on some kind of previous work by other researchers, scientists, or colleagues. That's why I collaborate a lot with my colleagues, and we work on these questionnaires together very often.
Elena, so may I share what I do every time that I'm interested in a certain topic? So I would read 1 article, 2 or 3 articles about it before AI. That's what I did before AI. I would go to the section on limitations of the research, and there I can find gaps in research, things that were not surveyed, things that were not studied. And sometimes I read the conclusion. I used to read the conclusion, and just look for these sentences which would indicate the implications for further research. Okay, and like suggestions for further research, and this is what I base my question on.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, this is where you get your inspiration, right? You look at the first suggestion for future research. I did the same for my PhD. Read a bunch of those. I saw that this is something that is needed in the field. And then I went into the process that Noga described, right? Coming up with your research question. But then actually my favorite part of my own dissertation, my own work was working on the instrument, working on the research instrument, meaning how do I collect data? And then making sure that the instrument is reliable, valid, like validating it, making sure that I can use it in the actual study. So I piloted it. I did a lot of preparation work for it. But then, of course, when you are just a student, undergraduate student, like in pre-service, whatever, like degree, you don't actually need to do that rigid kind of research, and you just need a questionnaire and launch it and collect some responses and see how you work with the data, right? In order to answer your question for a seminar paper or some kind of research that you do in one of your classes. So we're going to now move on to what has AI done for us today and how we are now empowered, and we can actually, in addition to our own imagination and creativity and ideas based on what we read, really like with eyes, not just summaries from AI, really like reading articles in details. So those ideas come, but then in addition to your own ideas for research instruments, you can now work with AI to ask AI to help you design like a suitable custom research instrument. And by research instrument, I mean whatever you want to use in your study, right? A questionnaire, a survey, maybe even a test. If you are a teacher, for those who are teachers, when you teach a module, when you teach a mini topic, right, you can, again, you will be using AI probably to create some kind of assessment or questionnaire to summarize, to ask questions based on what you have taught, right? On the topic of the month or semester or whatever term in school that you have been teaching. So AI is really powerful, not just only for researchers and scientists and governments and companies, but also for us normal people, both as in a role of a student, but also in the role of a teacher, because here we have a lot of teachers as well, or future teachers. Right. So I would like to show you a little bit of demonstration of how AI can, well, I'm going to skip the demonstration of how you can develop questions with AI, because I think this is obvious. You can imagine it. You just go to ChatGPT and ask to improve maybe your questions. You start with your own initial set of questions, and then you may try to refine it to make sure that they're written correctly with no spelling mistakes at least and all that. But then once you have data, for example, you know what? Let's begin with a real example. So when I'm talking about collecting data, we talk about Google Forms. And many of you have mentioned that you know what it is, right? You actually wrote it in how you collect data. So I'm going to show you an example of a Google form, and we will actually launch it here and see how it works. Even though you probably know the concept, but I still want to go and share some things with you about Google Forms, right? So this is, let's see if it's the right one. Yeah, this is the right one. So this document, this Google form, is my own mini kind of research that I launched a few years ago. You see, it has now 2025 because I erased all the previous responses. I wanted to be cautious with not sharing any kind of sensitive data, because you will see that it's kind of. But the question is really interesting. You see, I'm an English teacher and I teach also technology and AI and all kinds of things. This has nothing to do with any of what I actually do, right? It's about financial future and financial ambitions of students, of young people. And I would say I want to compare countries here as well. And I did it, I think we did it also last year, those of here from Impact teachers. I don't remember if you remember, but we actually had this experiment with some students from Greece, from Israel, from other European countries a few years ago. So we started collecting this data. It's going to be very interesting, just not related to anything, but maybe in the future. I wanted some kind of neutral example of something that anyone can relate, okay? It's not about teaching, it's not about research, okay? But it's just an example of a study. And this is my own curiosity. Now, this has not been written by AI in any way because I created this before AI entered our lives so intensively. So I created it all by myself. I wrote everything myself. All of the questions are mine, not AI. And I will show you the questions. I'm sure AI may improve it, perhaps, or maybe not. I don't know. But I just want to show you the concept. So how do you collect data in Google Forms? And then I will show you some AI tricks as well further. Okay, so first of all, can you look at these questions and predict what kind of research question do I have? So I'm going to show you the questions and you will write me your idea of a research question in the chat. So first of all, this is addressed to mostly my students. I share this with my students, but you know, if you're not a student and you want to participate, go for it. That's fine because I just collect the age. That's fine too. It's going to be very interesting. If I collected a lot of data, it's just going to be wow. So, and it's real here. And I think it's very interesting also economical, like, and mindset and all kinds of things. So first of all, I ask people to agree. We are currently, just for you to know, like technically, let me just put this separate so it's nothing is confusing here. So basically, in order to get into this mode, right, for those of you who don't know, you just go to your Google account. I'm demonstrating it really briefly. Just click on the options next to your user. One of the options is Google Forms here somewhere. You see it's somewhere here among the tools, Google tools. You can also access it through Drive. When you go into your Drive, you will have option to create a new, and it asks you, what do you want to create? Do you want to create a new document, a new Google Sheets, which is kind of Excel file, or a new presentation, Google Slides, or a new form? So forms are really, really useful when it comes to anything like, you know, project management, you know, collecting information from people, registrations, right? When we want people to register, share their data, and obviously research. You know, this is one of the easiest way to actually collect data from people. That's why I'm showing it to you. So new forms, you click on it and you start working on it. You can start from an example, actually, and you can also start from blank. So let's just go back 1 second. Here you had some example. You can connect, you can go and use some templates, right? So the templates are here already. Or just create from scratch. And then you give a name to your form and start adding questions. So I'll show you how it works. So let me show you my actual data collection instrument, right? First of all, I asked the participants, my subjects, participants, to agree, to confirm that they are voluntarily participating in the study. None of the questions are mandatory. Meaning I do want to encourage participations, but if any of the questions feel uncomfortable to any of my participants, they can skip them. I don't know why this one is mandatory. See, it's in asterisk. I need to check why. Maybe because it's the actual money, because I'm asking here, what's your how much do you want to make in the future, in 10 years, in 10, 15 years, the actual, you know, this is what the questionnaire is for. So you need to answer 3 questions, but most other questions are not mandatory. If you don't want to share your age, you don't have to. But obviously, the more you share, the better is for my research to actually discover patterns and interesting information in the data. So none of the questions are mandatory. You can skip any question. You may answer in any language. This is something that I also explain, which means that if I have students who don't feel comfortable writing in English, they can write in whatever language. And with AI, by the way, AI here is a big help. You can, you know, analyze your data. So I am freely inviting students to respond in any language that they wish: Arabic, different versions of Arabic, Hebrew, Greek, whatever you wish. Please go ahead and write in English, of course, if you if you're comfortable with English. I confirmed that this will be used anonymously in my research. But then I also have like a question at the end, which is again, obviously optional. It's not mandatory, but sometimes I invite students to share their names and emails and like asking. You will see asking them if they want to find a job, because sometimes we have job opportunities in companies, in international projects, and I want to have a list of students who have expressed interest to work part-time with you know, like research or whatever. So the first question is age. Where do you live? We will compare different countries. I have a question about number of kids. And by the way, all these questions, I have created them, I have written them, but I also discussed them with my students, other students, when we talked about, again, research and creating questionnaires. And this was our mini project. So this is something that we kind of brainstorm. So it's not only by one brain. What I want to stress here is just one brain is never enough. One brain plus AI is great, but 50 human brains, 100 human brains, right? I'm talking about the large group of students, 30 students, 50 students who actively, you know, contributed and expressed their opinion and some kind of suggestion to improve this questionnaire, right? So it was a collaborative work of a lot of human brains, first of all, and again, as I said, this was made before even an AI option could interfere and help us. So we thought about kids being a big component, right, in a person's mindset and how much they already have to work, maybe, and you know, do make something for a living, like, you know, some families, especially in Israel, we have a lot of more adult students who already have families, sometimes with kids, and this actually might affect the research results. So it's interesting. We want to see the difference between different places within the same country or between different institutions. So the name of college or university is important. Major faculty, actually, back then it wasn't part of it, but I added it because it's important for me to compare the ambition of an engineering student in like you know, one of the best schools in Israel, best universities, and maybe I don't know, multidisciplinary studies or logistics student from another college, you know, in the north or in the south, like that are not really top, you know, number 1 or 2 universities in Israel. And just in general, it's interesting to see different ambitions of different faculties, right? HR, I don't know, teachers, social workers. Do they have even financial ambitions and you know, dreams, whatever? Gender. By the way, in my previous results, I have like number of responses. So I had 50 and 50, like 50-50 equal distribution of gender, which is interesting. Native language. Also very interesting to see, like, who do I have? Do I have Arabic native speaker students, Hebrew native speaker students, Russian native speaker students, or now we will have maybe Greek native speaker and other different languages from Africa. Sometimes I have students from Ethiopia, so they are Amharic language and all kinds of linguistic backgrounds, and then religion backgrounds. And as I said, this was not mandatory, but all of the students who responded, I got, you know, maybe more than 100 responses already. They shared their religion openly, like, you know, sometimes there is no religion, right? If they don't you know, associate, but normally they share if it's a Muslim or Jew or Druze or Christian or whatever religions they do share. And I will be comparing different religion groups again in their ambitions for money. How many hours per week do you work on average in the past few months, right? So we are talking about, because my students said, okay, I worked this week a lot, but then last week I didn't work. And that's why we kind of tweaked those questions, because I discussed them with students, right? So this is what they suggested would be the best. If we take an average of several months, right, the last period now, if you work, and then, you know, honest answers can be 0. If a person doesn't work, then 0 hours, or whatever number of hours people work. How many hours per month? do you work? How many years of experience do you have? Some people work from very young age. Some students haven't ever worked in their life yet. So it will also be different, right? Either zero or like already several years of experience in the field of employment, right? How much do you earn per hour? And this is becoming interesting. Now I see a problem here. Okay, now I don't know why, because before we begin talking about how much per hour, and especially now when we're going to do this in the international kind of setting, let's go up and put this question first. Let's choose your preferred currency now for answering the next few questions about your salary expectations and your salary and expectations and salary expectations. Because the first question will be your current rate. And again, you can skip it if you don't work, right? And then there is no hourly rate. But a lot of students actually have a job, part-time job or permanent job, and they share like what they make. There is like a minimum wage in Israel, and then there are different rates, and it's just fascinating to learn this interesting information. That's why I started this research, right? An English teacher, but yeah, I'm interested in this all kinds of things. So before they go into actual numbers of how much per hour they make, so you choose the currency, right? Will you talk in euros, in dollars, and in shekels? And then they shared the amount they earn per hour, and then the monthly salary if there was like a monthly payment. Then I asked about the ideal future. How many hours per week would you like to work ideally? And believe it, like I had a huge variation. Some people said zero, they never want to work. It's also interesting. Like we have a new generation of students. What do they want? How do they see themselves in the future, right? Like just look at all those questions and start thinking about research questions that can be asked with this data. So much data, right? So many questions can be asked and then analyzed, and we will find out. So this is the amount of time that people want to work. I'm talking about young people from different countries. Imagine your ideal future and your hourly rate. How much do you want to make per hour, right? And some students will respond their ideal rate in 10, 15 years. It's also fascinating just to see what kind of ambitions young people have. And it's like they responded honestly, because this is not a mandatory thing. If you don't want to participate, don't. But if you do, like, it's anonymous. First of all, there is no name. You only share your country and institution if you want to. And then really no one wrote like $1 million or something that was just a joke, right? People really thought and expressed their honest expectations. So this is what I make today. I don't know, let's say 40 shekels an hour, just an example. It's like, I don't know, 10 euros per hour. And in 10 years, I want to make, I don't know, 80 euros per hour, something like that. Just real honest dreams, okay? Because we don't know what happens in 10 years, but students shared what they wanted to make in 10 years, 15 years. Also per month, what kind of salary do you want per month? And which industry do you see yourself working at? Again, in 10, 15 years. Imagine how many research questions I can ask here, because some students, for example, are taking, I don't know, criminology, but right, they're doing a degree in criminology department. And where do they want to work in 10, 15 years? This could be a completely different industry, right? Very, very interesting. Of course, for example, technical students, this was very homogeneous. They all see themselves in high tech, obviously high tech or startups or something like that. But other people, even English teachers, can suddenly dream about, launching their own school or like a business, right? Or maybe I want to work in an embassy or, whatever, like different kind of industries completely. Now, these are the optional points. As I said, I wanted to have some names of students who wanted to find a job, like to contribute to some projects. So there was a question which can be skipped, of course, and many of the participants skipped sharing their name or email. We need the email if you want a job and if you want to apply. And then we want to know as a company, how much do you want to charge for your services per hour for 5 to 10 weekly hours? And then would you like to be contacted about this job opportunity? They will say yes, of course. If they share their email, they want to be contacted. But then if you skip those questions and you say no, that's obvious, right? And that's it. They just complete it. And what do you guys think? Write in the chat. What kind of research questions can be asked for such data? Again, this was no AI whatsoever, right? It was just me and my students being curious about these kind of things, how much people want to work in the future, or young people, what kind of financial expectations, or maybe even financial reality, because, you know, it's kind of information that we don't talk openly. And you can't really ask people, okay, how much do you earn, right? It's like, unless it's your brother or something. So it's very interesting. And then this is what we came up to. Can you think of a research question and put it in the chat? Or maybe say something if you want, before I show you the next step. And I show you some data from this questionnaire. Are you guys interested to see what people responded? Say yes or no in the chat. Are you there? Are you there? Hello, hello. Of course. Okay. Ideas for questions? Yes, please. You want to see? Okay. You know what? Before, okay, I have another idea. So you don't have any particular research questions on your mind, right? Maybe you're not experienced enough, or you don't want to share. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Salary analysis based on location. Good point, Omer. Yeah, you could compare salary expectations and dreams based on country, right? Or even within the same country. Within Israel, we have lots of like periphery, right? Different cities, different populations, different backgrounds, different linguistic backgrounds, different religious background, and also maybe the age, right? Maybe the younger you are, the number of children. Some students would say 0 children, but then some have children, and then it raises probably their salary expectations or not. Well, it's like you need a lot of data to actually answer those questions, but this was the source for this kind of project. Let me do the following thing. I'm going to show you how you actually, after you have written all those questions, like your curiosity mind, right? You came up with all those questions that actually can be answered pretty quickly. Let's see how you share this, because this is an actual example of something that I have duplicated, and this is for a new 2025 year. So let's invite you guys to respond right now. And the way I will do it is just by copying the responder link. So once you have created your questions, you can now copy the link. You can even shorten it so it looks nicer. You copy it and you share with your potential subjects. Again, this is anonymous. This is not mandatory. This is your honest willingness to participate. But you know what? Let's do it. Go for it. Just skip the last question where there is the name thing, even if it's like optional. I need to give access. Responder link. It's published. Is it not working? Can you start answering the questions? Should be working. Let's see.
It says that we need to get access, and we need to request for access.
Yeah, it does.
Publish. Okay,
Most likely you are from an environment that doesn't allow people
responders, specific people. Okay, I see. This is a new thing, accepting responses. Okay, this is good to know. So when I go into the publish, because it's been published and I was confused. You see, it says that I need to invite specific people, but of course I don't want to invite specific people. I just want to make it as a responder view. Anyone with the link is a responder. You see, this is a new thing that that happened. It wasn't like that. I don't know if it
I think
happened
you
right.
need to share the link again.
Now, yeah, it should be working. I'm not inviting you to edit it. If I wanted to work with you, to collaborate with you, to like change the questions, then I would also invite you to edit the link. But now I want just to collect responses. So this is going to be the responder link. And I'll share it again. I think it's the same sharing. Let's see. Now you should be able to answer those questions. Let's do it quickly. It doesn't matter which country you are, your age. If you want to skip some of the questions, skip those questions that you don't want to, and definitely skip the name questions at the end because we don't want to feel awkward. So please just answer all of the questions quickly and we will see what do we do with the data? How can we analyze this with AI? Okay, now I have also created a short one. It takes you to the same place. Okay, so responses are coming in nicely. We have 3 already. We have 2 responses from Greece, very nice, and quite a few from Israel. I'll be sharing some insights into the data in a second. We'll jump into this together. Okay, so while you are finishing answering your questions, yeah, I see that many of you are not all. We have 37 participants on Zoom, and I received 15 responses. Amazing, amazing. It's like a third of you already responded. Maybe some of you are in progress. So in the meantime, let me show you what you can do once you have a data set. So what you've just done, you have contributed to that data collection, right? So I had some questions around different topics that you can actually do research about, right? Ask some research questions. So your contribution, your answers, you know, I wanted to make it as inclusive as possible. So I allowed using different languages. You can write openly. Like when I said, where are you from? Some of you said, give me the name of the country, but some people responded with the actual location of the city, particular city or something, which is fine, which is fine. The thing is that now I have a set of data. It's kind of messy because I don't really know how to look at it. And I'll show you. Google itself has wonderful ways to analyze data you collect with forms, right? You can actually go to responses and see graphs and responses. And it looks like it's kind of analyzed, but it's not, because now we need to make sure that it's consistent, that some people spelled I don't know, Israel with a capital I and some with small I, and it's like two different responses and it's counted as percentages. So Google doesn't do a good job here. And here is when we need AI probably to organize this data properly for us. Maybe we can do it. I mean, I believe in manual. I would go over manually, but then AI can help definitely. So before I show you the next step, I will show you how other researchers already work with data sets and how AI can help. And then I will demonstrate with my own account in ChatGPT and in Claude, and we will see how it works. So first of all, it's called Working with Your Data. It's going to be 4 minutes, maybe 6-minute video, but it's worth viewing it together. So I'm going to share my sound and share my screen with my sound. So this is another professor from another university explaining how, well, it's a very long session. It has all stages of research, starting from how you formulate your questions and what tools can help you. Then how do you do literature review and all different tools that help you actually collect different papers and analyze your literature review, introduction paper. Then different tools for writing, all kinds of AI tools for writing. And I'm going to show you only the place that is a topic of my session today, which is data analysis, right? Well, data collection was the part, let me show you, I'm going to share the screen. So the previous part of this recording of the webinar was about using AI for crafting the research instrument, which is kind of using ChatGPT to generate proper questions for your research. I don't know if I have convinced you. I still believe that doing it yourself out of your own curiosity and maybe brainstorming it with some people that can be kind of pilot subjects for your research. So the reason I talked about my particular questions in that form with my students is because my other students would be responding to this as subjects, right? So we wanted to make sure that the questions are inclusive or that they're clear. So in my perspective, human brain is still like invaluable and irreplaceable by AI. This particular session shows you that you can definitely draft wonderful questions with all kinds of AI tools. I'm not going to be demonstrating that because it's obvious. You can use ChatGPT and ask it to generate some questions for your research and blah, blah, blah. The next step is data analysis. We'll skip. By the way, there is also a wonderful part. I will share this video with you, but what is important here is not only you can see different AI tools supporting you at different parts of like research, but also the ethical questions that you need to think of. So when you collect these research instruments, the form that I showed you now, right? Google form. you need to make sure that you, like if AI was used, participants should be informed how, particularly if it influenced the nature of questions asked or the data collected. You see what they suggest? So in my case, I explicitly said, okay, this was written by me and my students contributed to this. No AI was used. But what this particular framework suggests is that you actually have to make it, disclose this information, make it clear to the users that the questions were written with AI. This is something that you need to transparently share. Data privacy and security ensure that the data collection tools comply with relevant data collection regulations. Here we need to trust Google Forms, whatever. This is a big question. I'm not an expert, but I'm really interested in how this is handled by different people. Reliability, validity. As I said, when I did my PhD, I had a whole section in my study, in my thesis, that after I adjusted an existing instrument, I actually piloted it and made sure that it was reliable and valid, did all kinds of tests, statistical tests. I had a pilot group of participants who used my research instrument, and I needed to fine-tune and tweak things after that. So it's really important, not just create it once and launch and say, okay, this was my research. You need to make sure that it's reliable and valid. Integrity, ensure that research questions are sound ethically, right? And respect the dignity and rights of participants and relevant to research objectives. So in my case, I am collecting data, very sensitive data, right? I'm asking people very personal questions like your religion, your age, your gender, your current salary, your future salary. Like it's such private questions, right? Of course, I'm not going to share this, I don't know, on Facebook or whatever. I'm gonna do proper research and then anonymously analyze the data for the purpose of the research, if I ever do that, right? I don't know, but just an idea. You cannot just collect from people random information like that without their consent, right? That's why I collected your written consent, that you know that this is for the study and you don't mind sharing, and whatever you shared, you feel fine with it. By the way, if anyone changed their mind for some reason, I don't know, and you said, okay, Yelena, we don't want you to use this data, even though it was anonymous now, I don't know even how I can identify you, but you can also contact me and ask me, please erase my my responses. I can do that too. So these are things that you need to think of. How do you enable, you cannot just collect data, you need to ask people to explicitly agree to participate in your data collection, in your survey, in your questionnaire, right? This is important. Okay, the next step is data analysis. Once people have responded, you will want to analyze the data. How do you do this with AI? So I'm going to show you some tips from here, and then I will demonstrate live in my account.
So we have, we've done our research question, we've done our literature review, we've created our instrument, and now we've executed our survey, and now we have data. What do we do with it? So in this next example here, we have Punxsutawney Phil's winter weather forecast data, which I was able to pull. I gathered the data from, I think it's 1886, and used that as my test data for the examples I'm going to show you on our next slide. For here, we're using a GPT plugin called Data Analyst, and Data Analyst is powered by Julius AI, which also has an external component as well. And this particular tool, it can suggest next steps, confirm whether or not to move forward with your particular research, summarize the data. It can give you ideas for broad analysis, perform data analysis steps, give you ideas and suggestions for further examination. It can create those visualizations that you might want to include. It can give, refine, or you can refine and correct as needed, but it's pretty cool. So let's take a look at some of these screenshots that we have here. Again, we can give you the chat log on this at the end so you can follow through with everything. So in this example, what I did is I took the Punxsutawney Phil's data over the last 100 or so years, and I put it into a Google slide and then embedded that Google slide or the Google Sheets within the ChatGPT, enabling the plugin. Okay. And I simply asked it, can you create a visual representation of your findings? You can see here on the screen that created a correlation of the findings for the weather and gave us this nice visual. In the middle here, I simply asked it, based on the predictive model, what trends can you forecast over the next 20 years? It analyzed the data and gave me a trend forecast over the next 20 years. As you can see here, it's going to get a little bit hotter over the next 20 years, according to the data. But it gave me this nice rundown of explain the x-axis, the y-axis, explain the different colors and why it did what it did, which is just wonderful. And then this last example here, we have these great graphs, these wonderful pieces, and I wanted it to explain the conclusions of the data. What can be concluded, or what can you conclude with the data that I have provided you? And it gave me this wonderful rundown of the data analysis and what it all means. So it talks about the weak correlation, about how Phil might not always be right, it's inconsistent. Variability in Phil's data, in Phil's prediction accuracy. It talks about the predictive modeling of the future temperatures, comparison of the model of the predictions. It also addressed regional variations, which I didn't ask it to do. So it gave that to me, and it gave me an overall conclusion of that data. So another potential tool that you can use for high-level data analysis. I know this isn't going to replace anything like SPSS or anything really intricate that you're going to be utilizing, but it's a nice place to start.
So she says that it's not going to replace SPSS, if anyone knows what that is, right, in statistical analysis, but you can use your ChatGPT for kind of analysis and visualization, right? You can visualize your data, your Excel, and what I like the best about it is just something you have sometimes you have all those different questions that you've asked. And you know what? We will demonstrate it live. I'll show you how I will ask my ChatGPT to actually come up with some additional research questions and also make some preliminary conclusions based on the data that we have collected right now during the session. I'm going to put it for another, it's 1.5 minutes, because I think it's, again, very, very important. Whenever I talk about AI, I cannot, skip the ethical part of it. So what does it mean to analyze data now with AI? Because when you collect data, right, but again, it's about data privacy, very, very important. So if I, especially in the previous example, when some students actually shared their name and email address and they want to be contacted and all that, so this is very private and personal data and all their answers, and you cannot really give it to AI and ask to analyze it. You have to realize that this is so sensitive and so precious and private, you have to really protect it. So never share any data that you collect from other people, especially even if it's anonymous, but if it's not anonymous, even more. So in order to make some kind of analysis with it, I have to delete everything that can be identified back to the person that actually submitted it, right? So make sure you never share this private information with AI, whether it's your own information or you collect answers from somebody. So let's go through all the ethical recommendations here, which is going to be just 1.5 minutes.
Great, thanks, Tracy. So some of the ethics for data analysis, of course, data privacy and confidentiality. So strict adherence to those human subjects policies, knowing the terms and conditions of any of the tools you might be using, and just making sure not to put in any personally identifiable information. So keeping that practice as you're going forward with these tools and not letting these tools just take it from you and take it away. And then, reading the terms and conditions is something that people don't often do, but in these cases, I would certainly make sure to do that. I would check with folks on your campus who might have expertise, either in the library, your research office, any of those places, IT sometimes, depending on what the purpose or the tool is. As far as any of the predictive analytics, definitely be meticulous in validating the integrity and reliability of your results. that has huge implications if you're going to make predictives, and you can definitely cause certain panic, and there can be certain biases, of course, that go forward into your predictive analytics. So think about the impact that those predictives may have, social, psychological, and otherwise. Okay, great. Let's go on to the
Right. So again, just to stress the importance and emphasize that whenever you do research and you actually use AI to help you analyze your data, it may give you some wonderful insights and visual like representations and graphs and everything. Your ultimate responsibility is to double check that it's accurate, because I literally do it myself every time, and well, sometimes AI is wrong. Sometimes it will give you some kind of statistics and numbers and means and everything, but it's not accurate. So why would I just maybe skip working with AI and work with traditional tools, with SPSS, statistical software, which are very accurate? But no, I would still use AI, right? Again, very carefully, not sharing any private information, because AI can give me ideas of how to analyze data. Again, there are hundreds of, I don't know, if not thousands of different tests that you can run in statistics. So you really have to be kind of expert and know what kind of tests you're looking to perform in order to do them. So it's sometimes AI gives you some kind of suggestions that are real, sound, and they're good suggestions, and you want to run those tests, and then AI can do it for you. But then I would take the same test and do it in my program, in my official statistical software program, and see that I get the same result. So AI can inspire me to do a certain statistical test sometimes. AI can definitely also do an amazing job analyzing qualitative data, which means analyzing interviews, right? Recorded transcripts of insights. It does an amazing job in content analysis. So it's kind of also a huge relief to all those qualitative researchers who collected, sometimes it took them so long for years to actually transcribe the data and, analyze everything. Now AI speeds everything up immensely. So AI is a huge asset in data analysis. But again, it's our responsibility as teachers, as researchers, as whoever who works with AI, to make sure that what you see is real and accurate. So you will always want to double check. Yes, do we have questions? Jonathan is asking, why do you have to share if AI is used? Many publishers require that. Academic institutional frameworks, they range from institution to, not only from country to country, from institution to institution, and even within institutions, some departments, some faculties have certain rules and acceptable practices which are different from others. Okay, so in one department you can do certain things with AI. In another department you will be asked to go through certain procedures, disclosure documents, and so on and so forth. So these regulations are not synchronized and not, standardized yet. I mean, I don't know if they can ever be, because there's so much depends on your actual field of studies, your actual purpose and the way that you've used AI. So it's really, really complicated area. But you know what? This is a good way to think about it. Think about it from the most rigid point of view. Whenever you use AI, you have to do it responsibly and inform the user of your content that AI has been used somehow. Okay, I believe in that. I mean, just for yourself, at least make a note how much AI you've used for this or that, just for your own, because you can never know. You might be actually required by law to also disclose this information. So I think it's important to be in this mindset that everything you do has to be documented in a way, unless it's done automatically somehow by some tools that can tell you exactly how much you've used AI, if that is possible. Maybe this will be the future. And the tools will tell us, okay, you've used me for this, and this is how much you've done yourself, and this is how much I have contributed. This is important information. I think it's important for science. Any other thoughts about it? But I think it's a good question and it's important. Let's jump into your responses, unless anyone wants to say anything about. Let's see. Thanks. Yes. Okay. Let's jump into your responses on your financial future. So we have 18 respondents. So for those of you, and we had two, remember two people said they've never collected data. Maybe you have participated in data collection, but you've never collected yourself. And some of you said, I only conducted 1 or 2 points of data collection. So let's take a look. So when you collect your data in Google Forms, first of all, you can look at it visually right inside. When you go into your responses, you have a summary button. You can also go by question and individual responses. So you have all these options, right? I hope you're familiar with this setting. If not, once you go and create your own questionnaire in the future, your own survey, please explore different tools, right? Don't just look at the summary and say, okay, this is what I get. Because you have also the link to Sheets. You can also extract all this information into Google Sheets and then connect this to AI, and AI will analyze it for us as well. So we'll do it next. Let's see, we have different ages of participants, starting from 20, are the youngest. We have 3 people who responded from Greece, the rest in Israel. So 15 Israelis. You see, if I didn't know that all this, I don't know if AI knows that all of this is the same collocation. It's Israel, right? And only 3 from Greece. And I can do it because I have only 18 responses. Imagine I had 1,000 people answer this, right? I would probably need AI to help me understand, kind of, okay, let's try and put all the locations together, all the Israeli people in one, in one column, because this is kind of, what are all these graphs? It's irrelevant, right? For us, it should be 2 graphs, Israel, Greece, that's it, but no. So AI may probably help, but maybe not necessarily. So let's see, we have people with kids. I don't know why we have, okay, you see, somebody answered with the line, with the dash, meaning they don't have children. And it's a separate category, right? Okay, and we have people with 1, 2 kids, and also none. So basically all the people who said no kid, none, 0, and dash should be put in one category. So this is data organization, data, kind of before you do even data analysis, you have to make sure that your data is consistent, that it's organized properly, right? Before you make any conclusions and try to analyze things. So,
But Elena, in
Yeah.
this case, you should define that answer only numbers, and you're not allowed to answer anything else.
I
And
don't
then
know.
it will be easier.
Yeah, it could be, but not always. I mean, I want to show that it's there a variety. Sometimes you can't really define numbers when we talk about, the country or place or religion. So here we have different institutions. Here we have majors, different majors. So we have English language, we have English, like I can't really predict all the different departments of majors or faculties, right? But I can already see that I have the same major mentioned several times. English language, English education, English department, it's the same major, right? And here I have industrial engineering for some reason appearing twice, maybe because of the spelling again. And in my case, this is an open questionnaire that I want to reach as many people as I can, as many students from different faculties. So I can't really restrict. Are you all right? It can be easier if you say, okay, in this, and you choose, and then maybe other, but I want to make it open. Gender is easy. We have 50-50 almost. Native language. We have a lot of languages here. Look how multilingual we are here in this group. We have people speaking Idoma, Pidgin English. We have obviously Arabic, English, Hebrew, Greek. Lesgin, is this their South Korean? You see, Google even doesn't identify that Greek with capital letter and Greek with small letter is the same language, same with Hebrew, which is okay. Religion, look how many different religions we have here. Muslim, Jewish, Druze, Christians, obviously, and then Christian Orthodox and maybe something else, agnostic. Okay. What about hours per week? Let's see. We have students who don't work. 1, 0 hours. And someone said, I quit. I quit working. But we also have people who work 50 hours per week and 30 hours. Again, this is like a scale, or maybe, I don't know, I need to go into the sheet and check. Now, this is per month, right? So this was per week, hours per week. This is hours per month. Now, how many years of work experience? Again, this ranges from 0 to like several years. Younger students, of course, would have like 1, 2, 3, 4 years and so on. And then we have a couple of professors who responded with a lot of years of experience. Mostly we have people responding in shekels. So we have 13 people who now will share their hourly rate in shekels, and some people will talk in euros. So in shekels, let's see. First of all, how much do you earn per hour now? I hope these are euros. You see those little numbers, and starting from shekels, I think the minimum would be about 30, 40, right? I don't know. And then it goes up. Okay. We have also monthly salary. So these are the numbers probably in shekels. Again, different numbers. And the ideal future. This is interesting. Now, this is why I started this questionnaire, right? Because I wanted to know, what do people dream about? I don't really care how much they make today, even though it's also interesting. Maybe I can find it in statistics or whatever, economical statistic journals, but I want to learn how much do people want to make when they grow up, right? In 10, 15 years. And this is what interested me. And look what we got. First of all, how much do they want to work? We have some people that say 2 hours per week. And somebody said like nonstop. What is this? 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, like a lot of hours? I don't know. 30, maybe 30, 34. I don't know. 30, 35 makes sense. This is like a range, 8 to 10, 50 hours, 5 hours. Okay. Imagine your ideal future. Again, this is interesting because, right, this is why we started it. Your ideal future, how much per hour would you like to make ideally? Some people dream about 60 hours, 60 shekels per hour. I don't know, maybe it's 60 euros per hour. I don't know. But yeah, 100 shekels per hour. This is ideal hourly rate of my students. Oh my God. I mean, I really think it's very low because I know some students who already make thousands of shekels, like really per hour, which is, of course, unique examples, but I think that students need to dream bigger. My vision is to make students dream big and like really want to make more money, and there are different ways. But I see that they really dream about 60 hours, 60 shekels per hour. It's like not much. Or 70 to 100 shekels, very, very modest, very, very humble. Maybe, I don't know. It's our country, I don't know, for those who are out of Israel, is very, very, very expensive. You need, to make a 1 week shopping, you need a 4-digit number, and people are ready to work for this small. Okay, this is already better. Somebody wants to make 400 shekels per hour, 500 shekels per hour. I don't know. We do have someone who wants to make 5,000 shekels per hour, and we also want see 1,000 euros per hour. Okay, these are numbers that I like. These are the numbers that everyone should want to make. Like 1 hour of work, you get 1,000 euros. For many of you, it's like, what are you talking about, Yelena? This does not exist. Oh my God, this exists a lot. Like, Noga, do you agree with me? You know that you can charge
Totally.
you can charge 1,000.
However, I do charge 500 per hour, but I know people who charge 1,500.
1,500, exactly. And they're 1,000 euro per hour. Of course it exists.
And they don't know more than me. I'm just more humble.
Exactly. And look at our students, our brilliant students. They have no idea. And we have to, raise this awareness that you can actually dream bigger. Come on, guys. your monthly rate. Okay, someone wrote is it 10 million or 1 million? And you know what? I'm not gonna laugh at this person. Is it 5 people who responded? No, just one. 100,000 euros. Somebody wrote that they want to make per month 100,000 euros per month. This is very nice. I like this salary. I want to join this club. Can I, in 10, 15 years, I'm there. Someone wants to make 10,000. I don't know what it's in Excel. We will know exactly if it's euros or shekels, right? But you can look at the numbers here. So here we have in shekels. A lot of students think that 50,000 shekels or 25,000 shekels per month is ideal. It's their ideal future. It's not even like, ideal salary today. Which industry do you see yourself? And here we see different industries. And again, this could be an interesting comparison between the current faculty the students are studying at and their future dreams, where they want to. Okay, I'm not going to go down with the names because some of you shared their names. Now, let me show you how it works in Excel and how you can work with AI. You will click on this, create a new spreadsheet, because it's a new questionnaire. Create a new spreadsheet. Why is it saying learn more?
Click the right-hand side.
Create. Yeah, I was hidden by my Zoom, so I needed to find it. Okay, now we have this lovely spreadsheet. By the way, there is a new button that I noticed today in my Google. Maybe not this one, but it allows you to play with it. It's very nice. Okay, so now this is our data. Let me stop sharing for 1 second in order to delete the sensitive data before I share my screen again. I'm going to delete the names of the students who shared their name. Even though I said, please don't, but it's okay. And yeah, we also have someone who shared their email address. Oh my God. So in order for me to hide this, 1 second, I'll take this. This is another strategy. Maybe I will show it to you now because it's important. Because this is what you need to do before you share this information with your AI tool. You would probably want to copy it to another Excel. This is how I did. Maybe there is an easier way, but when you create this Excel from forms, it doesn't allow you to edit it. You cannot really delete things and change things because it's a live document that will be adjusted accordingly based on the future responses. So I will be sharing this link with other students and they will be adding their responses. So this file should not be messed up, right? So I'm going to create a new document, a new spreadsheet, and copy the responses there into the new spreadsheet. And then I will put it in the AI for analysis. Now I have copied this. It's a new, now I will be able to change things. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to go to the names, delete the names and emails. And then I will put this into my AI tool. 1 second. Let me go and delete this. Okay, 1 second. I delete this column, right? Now it allowed, because previously, if you try to delete something from the form, it will not allow you. So I duplicate the Excel and then delete it. And I already see 3 candidates who want to work with us in the future. That's lovely. We will be in touch. Delete table column. Okay, beautiful. Okay. Are you looking? Yeah. People are looking for a job. Interesting. Okay, great. So let me delete this as well. Delete. Or maybe, you know what? I'm gonna leave it because this might be a source of interesting information that AI can.
Maybe you can ask Elena. Maybe you can ask AI to delete this information from the analysis.
No. You should not share this with AI because I mean it can delete, but the data will be leaked into the internet already. So unless you have your own AI, this is very good example. Thank you, Samia, for asking this. Unless you have your own AI on your own computer in your own lab, which is not connected to the internet. So because you have this new technology, even DeepSeek now, you can install it on your computer and work securely just on your laptop. It's not going to go into the internet, and you can even work on when you fly on the plane For those who are going to travel, you can work and continue working with AI and writing with AI if you install it as a program on your computer. So it becomes just a software app. You can download an AI, and there is one that was released yesterday from Craft. It's actually DeepSeek R1, the Chinese one, but it's secure because you install it on your computer and it's not connected to the internet. And you can then, the results there are not as high quality as, of course, things that you can do online with ChatGPT, especially like new models. But you can still, for example, continue writing, checking, brainstorming with AI on the go, on flight mode and whatever. So please don't share this sensitive information and ask AI to delete it because it's gonna be leaked already. Which one? Okay. I'm gonna share my screen now quickly again and show you some things that I've done with ChatGPT. Okay, so
at this point, I'm going to transition and stop.
I'm gonna stop this. If anyone wants to watch this full recording, because it's fascinating, it's all about the power of AI for academic research from A to Z, from coming up with the question to coming up with the tools and analyzing data. So this is the link to this YouTube. Now I'm closing this and now I'm jumping into the GPT. Okay, I'm going to show you how you analyze data in ChatGPT. This is an example of what I did earlier. Let's see if I can hide this. Yes. So in order to work with data in ChatGPT, if you have a ChatGPT Pro account, by the way, there are new things. Let me show you from scratch. Okay, ChatGPT, as of today, has released new models. I'm showing it to you. It's very new, very fresh. One is called O3 Mini. It is fast at advanced reasoning. So we had this, there is Mini and Mini High. There are two new models. So we had O1, which is advanced reasoning. Instead of working, it says, I'm thinking, right? Or instead of like analyzing data, I'm thinking, processing, whatever. Instead of processing, it was thinking. Actually, it was writing that it's thinking. There is a new ChatGPT 4.0 with scheduled tasks. It's in beta, but it's working. Look, it's called ChatGPT tasks, like agents, right? Where you can give it tasks and it will follow up later, which is insane. New things, and there are new models. Well, this is not new. So 4.0 Mini, for most questions, it's fast. You can also activate temporary chat. I don't think I knew this option because it's nice in a sense, right? When I do kind of spontaneous training with you guys and I don't want this in my history, maybe I would want to activate it as a temporary chat because it makes your memory off. It's not going to appear in your history and it's not going to be used in model training. So this is another interesting feature to explore, but I won't turn it off because it's new. Okay, let's go move on to advanced reasoning, but not
Elena,
yes.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but we have a lesson in 15 minutes. So
thank you. I will say goodbye to you guys. I'm gonna finish it in a few minutes with everyone, and if you want to see the rest, you can watch the recording. It's gonna be on Moodle.
Okay.
It was really great to see you. So thank you. And I understand that you have to disconnect. You will receive information about your final portfolio today. Okay. And one of the things that will be required there in the portfolio will be to create a Google form like I demonstrated today and share some kind of analysis that you've done with AI. And I'll show you how to do it now. So it's going to be the last 5-10 minutes of the recording that you have to watch in order to do it, okay? Thank you, guys. So if you need to disconnect, take care. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now back to shared screen just to show you a few more things, and I will allow you to ask questions or have the rest of your evening have fun. I'm going to show you that in order to analyze data, you can actually start from the regular ChatGPT. You can attach a file and ask questions about it, right? With you see with 3.0 mini, it's disabled. Attachments are disabled, so you need to go to a regular mode, maybe 4.0 for most questions. Yeah, you can attach file from your Google Drive, which makes sense. We just created this spreadsheet in Google Drive with your responses. You can also upload PDF from your computer. Again, a little demonstration. When you have this file, so this is an example of file with data, right? With the data that I just collected. In order to create a PDF file, I'll go to download and I will download this document as a PDF here. The reason I'm doing it is because some models, not ChatGPT, but for example, Claude works really nicely with PDF. So I'm going to save it as PDF, export. And let's see where it's going to save it. Okay. Financial future. Let's put the date. Today is February 4th, 2025. Save. Okay. And then I will upload it into Claude. That's another tool. Okay. So back to ChatGPT. There are also special, like she said in the video, plugins, right? So in order to have access to those plugins, you need to have your paid account in OpenAI and ChatGPT. And there are many different things. So if you want to analyze data, so she used Data Analyst, this one, which is was created by ChatGPT to visualize your data and everything. When you go inside, the problem with let's see, with code interpreter and data analyst, the reason I like it less is because you attach the file and then you have to prompt it. You have to give it some prompts yourself. You have to know what to ask for, but students probably don't even know what do they need to ask, right? How do you do this prompting? So I like the other one better. I liked the data analysis and reports. It got almost 1 million downloads, which is a lot. And the reason it's nice, I think, it's because start conversation. It actually gives you some pre-written prompts. Analyze my data, tell me what you see, and like blah, blah, blah. Like, let me put it. And suggest analysis we can run, okay? Just click on it and it starts the conversation, and then it's easier because, okay, upload your data file and begin the analysis. So let's upload what we've just created. Upload from, I don't know if I can work. I hope it works because last time I tried uploading PDF into ChatGPT for this reason, it didn't really do a great job. It messed up massively. And I pay $20 every month for it, but let's hope it doesn't. Okay, it works fast. Data overview. So this is how you can analyze data, right? You immediately see some kind of insights, data issues, suggested analysis, correlation analysis, comparative demographic analysis, future earning gaps analysis, cluster analysis. Would you like me to begin one of those analyses? Or do you want to explore something first? Okay, so we are running out of time. So basically this was a really brief demonstration. Okay, I wanted to also show you that you can do the same in Claude. You will upload the PDF and ask for a visualization of your data. It also works there, even with free account. Because here you see specifically for ChatGPT, you need a paid account to find this plugin. In Claude, you don't. So you can try there at least, like put your Excel file and see what you get. It's not going to be magical and beautiful right from the beginning because you will probably come up with, just like Google came up with all these irrelevant graphs that do not show anything, right? Any AI tool can do the same if your data is not clean, right, organized, and you need to go back to this file and make sure that everything here is properly, like, I don't know, maybe maybe the first thing that I would do, especially if it's multilingual, I would ask AI to translate everything in English. So if somebody responded not in English, like in Hebrew or in Arabic, I want everything to be in English for me to see the data in one language, and also for the tool maybe, and so on and so forth. So there will be additional steps and strategies. Again, I recommend you watching that YouTube about the whole, implications and different suggestions of a variety of tools. I found it really useful, that video, particularly that workshop, different tools for different stages of research. So please enjoy it. And questions? Yeah, I see that you brought some suggestions that maybe you need to use some drop-down menus with numbers and everything. Yeah, those are really helpful when you have a very specific kind of research with specific set of options that you know that you want to extract. Then drop-down menus and single choice questions, of course, work best. In this case, well, I think the future, again, I want AI. I actually envision that AI will be smarter and it will be able to, put things together and organized messy data in something more structured and organized. And then, and then we can maybe collect more quality data without restrictions. So I want it to be open, but then I want AI to do the dirty job of organizing those all kinds of options, how people express that they don't have children, whether a dash or no kids or zero or whatever, in words, in pictures, and so on and so forth. No questions? Thank you, guys. I see that you started to disconnect. And see you all sometime in the future if our paths cross. Thank you very much for your participation. Thanks for joining
Thank
me.
you, Elena.
Thank you. We'll be in touch, and
Thank you.
Thank
I'll
you.
post things on our Moodle with the links with the final assignment for my students who need to do that. If you already finished this course, enjoy the semester break and see you next semester. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It was nice to meet you. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Elena.
Thank you, Ella. Thank you for your contribution to the survey. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Professor Sqairi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? How's
Alhamdulillah.
everything?
Alhamdulillah, everything is good so far. Kostas, how's life treating you in the US?